Hello everyone, it's been a while, and by a while I mean like 2 months or something. I'm too lazy to check it. So anyways, and it's been even longer since literally anyone like a soul made a video about P-3. And though the hype train shouldn't even start yet, people decided to start it straight up like right after P-2 came out. Everyone started speculating, then they started speculating again after Violence came out, and even before Violence came out, people speculated a lot. And I'll be speculating now since we have a little more evidence, and also because like layer 8 and layer 9 will come out soon. Well, actually we don't know when these layers will come out, probably like in the summer, like Wrath and Heresy came out. So yeah. Let's get into it. I'll be going extremely in depth. Well, not extremely in depth, but like quite in depth. I've been thinking about making this video for like a year, so yeah, let's get to our first candidate, God. God is the most unlikely candidate because he just has no will to live. So even if he died, which I personally am not sure about, even though the Act 3 is called the way it's called, and I can't mention the word on YouTube because, come on, I have like 30 subscribers and I wanna make this channel grow and stuff, so yeah. God just has no will to live, nor does he will have any semblance of will to do anything at all. The second least likely candidate that I want to mention now is Gabriel. He just can't, because I think Akita mentioned in Discord that angels and stuff have no soul and only humans possess souls. Third one is the funniest candidate I've seen. He's not mythologized enough. He was too real. But he was in Divine Comedy, and it's Alexander the Great, who in Divine Comedy resided in the layer of violence, yada yada yada. Who cares? He's too real. A lot of other unlikely candidates come from the Greek mythology, and the first one on the list that I'll be mentioning is the least likely one, because his myth is very hard to convert from Hellenistic to Christian, like all the others that I'll blitz through right now. And that's Prometheus, yeah, the guy who gave us fire and has a very tasty liver, especially if you are an eagle. Okay, that was kind of mean. But yeah, it's kind of hard to convert him from a Hellenistic myth to a Christian one, It's generally difficult. The other two candidates that I'll mention here that are from Greek mythology and I think are unlikely are in fact Greek kings, and one of them is King Ixion, and his myth is just unconvertible. Like, come on, he was insanely in love and lustful for Hera. Come on, just get out. Something would have to happen to his lore, like, to make him at least plausible, you know? And the other guys, Odysseus, Ulysses, whatever you like to call him, he's just unlikely because, come on, he didn't seem hard enough, nor was he nice enough. He just has a strong will. That's the only good qualifier for him to be here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. He has balls. That's it. I've got nothing better to say about him. Okay, now with all that out of the way, it's time to get a little more schizophrenic. So, I once saw a Reddit post that pointed out a nice coincidence that flesh prisons are shaped like platonic solids, and that those platonic solids represent elements of the layer from which the prime soul comes from. And we don't know yet if that's a coincidence or not. Maybe it is, maybe not. But the coincidence is too striking, since octahedron, after which Minos's flesh prison is shaped, represents air, and the winds are the punishment of the lost slayer. And well, golden sand in the greed layer, and like sand, gold, earth element, and the fact that Sisyphus' prison is shaped like a cube. You get the picture. So the other three platonic solids are tetrahedron, that represents fire, icosahedron, that represents water, and a dodecahedron, that represents ether. So, yeah, if all that is just a coincidence, it doesn't matter if it's just a coincidence, but if it's not a coincidence, well, in P-3 you will be able to guess from which layer the guy comes from. So yeah. Okay, let's just assume that our guy is definitely from Act 3 layers. So thus it leaves us only with violence, fraud, and treachery. And in fraud there are a lot of fire related punishments, so let's just say that tetrahedron represents fraud and icosahedron represents treachery, since, you know, ice is made from water most of the time. And the only platonic solid that is left is dodecahedron, which represents ether. So let's just say it's heaven. Just, yeah. Let's just straight up assume it. So, our first treacherous beast is actually in fraud layer, which is kind of funny. And this one is King Tantalus from, yes, Greek mythology. And since my ass didn't read the Divine Comedy, I just have to trust Google on this one that he's there. But whatever, he just fits perfectly in treachery layer, and him being in fraud kinda gives him more validity in my eyes, since he has more presence and stuff. He has sinned like perfectly. He committed all three things that needed to be committed to be put in treachery layer. He did kill his son, for which he's both treacherous and deserving of being put into violence layer, but you know, treachery is worse sin thus. He should be in the treachery. He lied to gods, but you know, he could have lied to the council or something. Actually not sure, but his myth is kinda convertible from Hellenistic to Christian mythology and religion. Just, I don't know, instead of sacrificing a lamb or a bull to God, he just sacrificed his son and ate the sacrificial animal himself or something. But here is the fun part. His punishment is so horrid that I kinda doubt that he would have any will to live, especially since he had lavish life that was lavish in comparison to any other king. He had it the best, and yet now he has it the worst. So either he is so narcissistic that he just, out of spite, continues to exist and has will to live, and he just waits for someone to kill him, just to become a prime soul, if he knows what it is, consciously or subconsciously. Maybe hell told him, just to have fun. I'll skip certain guy as we delve deeper into hell. And oh, here we see Lucifer and the treasure layer and stuff, chewing on Brutus, Cassius and Judas, but I highly doubt any of them would be prime souls. In case of Lucifer, well, he's an angel, and I doubt that hell would give him soul, but actually that would be kinda interesting. But whatever. Angels don't have souls, and he would probably turn him into some demonic abomination, not even like a flesh prison. So yeah, Brutus, Cassius and Judas. Judas literally killed himself, so I doubt he would have any willpower. Brutus and Cassius are like, I doubt they have they just don't have the dogs in them, you know. They just don't have it. The other candidate I find quite unlikely in these depths is hell itself. And why do I find it unlikely? I may misremember something, but Hakita said that, like, basically prime sanctums don't have significant impact on the lore in terms of like on the outcome of the game, because they would be either imprisoned indefinitely, the souls, or just, you know, dead because of you. So yeah, and hell is a quite significant thing, you know. Hell is quite significant. So yeah, I highly doubt that it be in P-3, but it may be in 9-2, you know. Okay, and now we're getting to the most likely candidates in my opinion, and both of them come from the Bible. So let's get to the most famous person in the world that ever existed. Yep, Jesus Christ. First of all, he exists in Ultrakill universe because idols are shaped like Virgin Mary and the baby Jesus. And also, like, come on, Jesus is half man, half God, so he can have a soul, thus he can become a prime soul, especially with his willpower. How he got in the situation where he would be in a flesh prison in hell? Well, first of all, our guy tried to, well, in the Bible he went to hell on the 6th day and just saved a lot of souls that were there because, you know, he's Jesus. He loves people. And the council may not like this because hell is for punishment and hell is just sadistic, so they would probably just not let him do it. And that's even if we're taking into consideration that he was even killed at all, because the cross iconography is not associated with him in Ultrakill universe, it's associated with the Tree of Life. Which is even more fun to think about in this case, because maybe Judas didn't even betray him at all. But that doesn't really matter, because it could have happened later, like, I don't know, he could have just went back into heaven and then saved a lot of souls from hell when God vanished, and the council and maybe even Gabriel stopped him too, because like he was used as this sort of heaven, even though in the Bible he's like the messenger guy. He should be relatively chill, but I guess in Ultrakill there is no Archangel Michael, so I guess. And now to the other candidate, the last candidate that I find most likely to be the third prime soul. Candidate with the most evidence for the whole level. And having one tiny image on that level, the one that even was being punished in Divine Comedy in between layer 8 and 9, being one of the giants guarding the 9th layer. And that's King Nimrod, the one who commissioned construction of the Tower of Babel, and in case of Ultrakill, also another Tower of Babel, and the Library of Babel being part of the tower, of course. He is the most likely candidate, in my opinion, because like seriously, there's a whole level that is located in the library and the Tower of Babel, and that's 7S. So yeah, he was just defying God during his lifetime, and even as a husk, like 7S existing in the Library of Babel is enough of an evidence for him defying God even in hell, thus spreading his influence outside of layer 8 and 9. The guy just exists. And what I find quite interesting is in Divine Comedy he speaks in gibberish because, you know, he constructed the Tower of Babel and thus no one shall understand him. So I kind of find it funny, like, how does he communicate? Like, did he just get out and build the Tower of Babel to Electric Boogaloo himself when God left, or what happened? I'm genuinely curious, because that's interesting. Like, Unless Hakita actually lets him speak, but that would be funny if he just switched languages mid-sentence, like, I don't know. But yeah, basically I think he's the most likely candidate to be the prime soul number 3 in the hit game Ultrakill. But only Hakita knows. It's his story after all. He cooks. And the only thing I'm certain is that it's gonna be a banger.